It's time to press the reset button. That is basically the words from Enoch Nkwe from his press conference today. But today we're going to be discussing everything that has to do with the two coaches that have been selected, of course. So this is an interesting conversation that we're going to be having because this is the first time that I'm back live in a long time, guys. So welcome back, everybody. Welcome to myself back, I have to say, and welcome to the show. I brought it to you at 9 o'clock because of the obvious the Sunrise and Eastern Cape game. I was watching it, of course. Tristan Stubbs, Aiden Market, and Mike Mumbai Indians. Cape Town was also involved. So very interesting game. It wasn't a massive high scoring game, but what a game in the end. It was a nail biter. It came down to the last couple of the last over almost. Actually, it did come to the last over. And Tristan Stubbs extremely upset when he went out. But we're not only going to talk about that today. This is the daily show about the coaches, the appointments, and what our thoughts are. I'm also going to try and get a guest on the show to talk to me about Rob Walters. But I also got a special message from someone that knows Shukri Conrad very well as well. So that's the show today. We're going to be chatting about the coaches. I'm going to give you guys some insight into what has been going down, if you guys missed the news, etc., and the updates on the new coaches that have been assigned. This is the show for this. It's also going to be a little bit of an opinion from myself and what I think about the coaches, etc., and whether I agree or disagree with the appointments, etc. That's what's going to be on today's show. Before we get going, before we get started, there's a couple of things that I'd like you guys to please do. Please, first and foremost, subscribe to the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month. The latest issue is with Tristan Stubbs on the front cover. So go ahead and look for it. If you go to cricketfanaticsmag.com, you should get a pop-up that will show you guys the magazine, and you can put your email address and name in, and that's how you get the latest issue. You can also find it, the link in the description. The link is also going across the screen, so if you want to jot it down and then go find it later, you may do so as well. What I need you guys to also do is become a patron, please. That's how you guys help us promote and grow South African cricket. But it also helps me as a company as well grow and promote. Remember, guys, we don't have any sponsors on this channel. You guys, as the fans, with the AdSense and everything that you guys are doing with the Patreon account and the super chats, that's what's keeping this business alive, this channel alive. So I need you guys 100% to get involved with the Patreon account. Link is on the screen as well as in the description. If you want to go and find regular updates and news updates and opinion pieces and all of those type of things, please go to cricketfanaticsmag.com. That's where you'll find all your updates, your features, your exclusive interviews, etc. on cricketfanaticsmag.com. And please also smash a like, comment, and share. I'm looking at the guys that are viewing the videos. Majority of you guys are not liking the video. So please, if you're watching, please smash a like on the video. It really helps us get into the algorithms. We're working very hard in cricket in South Africa, and we're trying to promote the game. We need every single like that we can, comment, and share that we can as well. So without further ado, guys, I'm excited to be back live. Let's get straight into today's video. A very good evening and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your daily show. I'm your host, Khalid, and this is the show where we talk about all the major talking points in South African cricket. Today's show is all about the appointments of two coaches that are going to be taking over the Proteas, Shukri Conrad and Rob Walters. Now, I'm excited about this whole situation. I'm excited particularly about Shukri Conrad because I know him personally as well. But I think the Rob Walters signing is also a good one, knowing that he's a hectic fitness and conditioning guy. He's been a part of the Proteas, etc. Before. I like that. And there are some interesting things that have been said about the coaches, etc., that I will read to you guys a bit later. First and foremost, let me get the nitty-gritty stuff out of the way, because some of you guys might not have seen the news, you don't know what's happening, etc. And that's my duty as Cricket Fanatics Magazine and as the host of the show to inform you on what has taken place. So first and foremost, I'm going with an angle over here from an article that was written on Cricket Fanatics magazine recently. It was based off the question that I asked in the presser. There were a lot of questions, obviously, that were asked based around like the nitty gritties about the role, etc., and what's going to be happening with the ODI team because the ODI team is playing against England, and the coaching roles are only starting from the 1st of Feb. So I'm going to be reading this article out to you guys. You guys can go to the site to go read it as well. But I just thought let's do it for you guys and read the article on the website right now for you. So the Proteas have had several coaches in previous years. So this is based off my question on what are they going to do with regards to a mental coach, etc. Okay, so this article is about that. I'm going to start off with the intro because it gives you the information that you guys need to understand what has gone down. So the CSI Director of Cricket, Enoch Nkwe, confirmed on Monday the appointment of Shukri Conrad and Rob Walter as the new Proteas head coach for the red and white ball formats, respectively. So that means obviously that Shukri Conrad will be taking the red ball or test team, and Rob Walter will be looking after the white ball formats for this particular Proteas team. Nkwe, who stated that the coaches would take a long-term projects with the 2027 World Cup and World Test Championship being the part of the bigger focus. He said that the two were chosen with the responsibility of leading the team forward to a greater heights in all formats. It gives me great pleasure to announce that the two coaches that will be leading us forward and taking our team to greater heights, Nkwe said. In terms of their leadership, they are strong and clear on their minds in terms of how to move cricket forward in all formats. The protests have been far from convincing in recent years, something visible even to blind men, says Avuile. The inconsistent result have raised eyebrows. The ex-players questioning the team's moral and mood in the locker room. And Quay also admitted that their decision to hire the pair was influenced by this and their ability to assist players mentally and help them perform better. This was the main angle that I took out of the presser, guys. One thing that stood out from the coaches is that mental aspect of the game, understanding what is required for the environment to excel. That's very important there, guys. Whether a mental or performance coach will help the players on a human element, that's going to be critical. I know they are looking for someone to bring on board and to help players move forward. We don't want a situation where it's once off thing. We need to make sure that the person is part of the environment for a period to help the players move forward. So definitely there will be a performance coach. The two coaches will begin their duties on the 1st of February, while a standing coach will be announced for the up and coming crucial ODI series against England. Now, they did say, Enoch also added that it will be announced with a team announcement. So we are waiting for that announcement to bring it to you guys. So the next thing I want to talk about is to get to know the coaches a little bit better. So first and foremost, Shukri Conrad will be taking over the test team. Shukri Conrad played 5 matches for Western Province B side during Unity before becoming a coach at an early age and was appointed by Gauteng B from 1999 to 2001, the Highland Strikers for 2 years, and then the Lions in 2004. He enjoyed success with the Strikers, winning the One Day Cup before returning to Cape Town to coach the Cape Cobras at Newlands. At the Cobras, now named Whitby Blitz, Conrad played a major role in developing the future Proteas, JP Duminy, Vernon Philander, Roddy Kleinveld, Steven van Zyl, and managing senior internationals such as Ashwell Prince, Graham Smith, Herschel Gibbs, and Justin Kemp as well. Conrad won trophies across all formats, MTN One Day Cup, Standard Bank Pro 20 title, and first class Supersport Series title, and led the Cobras to a semi-finals of the inaugural Airtel Champions League T20 semi-finals in India. It's almost like a Champions Trophy, I think that is. After being surprisingly let go after winning the Supersport Series title in April 2010, he became the coach of Uganda. After a short stint, he returned to South Africa. He was appointed National Academy coach and also took the South Africa A team on a tour of England and was emerging coach as well. Remember in that time, he became S under 19 coach for the past couple of seasons. In this team, he coached the likes of Deva Brevis, Matthew Boast, obviously Mikey Copeland, and those type of guys as well. George van Heerden at the recent ICC Under 19 World Cup in the Caribbean. Conrad's most recent success was with the S Under 19 team that emerged victorious in Cricket South Africa's Division 2 T20 Challenge. Now we're going to move on to Rob Walter and what he has to offer as well. Walter was in the Proteas changing room before when he worked for 6 years as the national team's fitness trainer. He was also involved at the Delhi Daredevils and Pune Warriors in the Indian Premier League. He became a head coach at the Titans in 2013. We won 3 trophies before moving to New Zealand. Walter coached the Otago Volts for 5 years and has since transferred to Central Stags. I've also put the interview of myself and Shukri when he got the job. Obviously, the Daily Show is in here, of course, but I also have an article on the site where I have the interview that I did with Shukri Conrad, an exclusive on the channel when he took over the East Under 19 job. We speaks about producing and creating or actually molding cricketers in a way, mentally toughness, having mental toughness and being strong mentally. So it's something that you guys should watch because it gives you some insight into the philosophy, into his philosophy as a coach. So it's very important that you guys go and look at that. Let me give you my opinion at the end of the show after I've now done my education process. I'm obviously going to be waiting for an opportunity for someone to come on the show to educate me on Rob Walters, sorry, because I didn't have an opportunity to really watch both of them play. At least I didn't get an opportunity to watch Shukri play as a young cricketer, of course, coming through. And also, I wasn't in cricket at the time that he was the coach. So for me personally, I'm basing everything that I know off. I'm basing everything that I know off my interactions with Shukri over the years. So I've had plenty of conversations with him outside of cricket and on this channel as well that have really challenged my beliefs, challenged my mentality on cricket. It really made me think about the game in a very different light. It started to make me think about looking at the details more specifically. It started to make me look at the conditions a lot more and make sure that I try and understand how conditions work. Because there's a lot of education that I've heard, and also to see how he looks at young players and which players he looks at and highlights. Because often we'd have a conversation maybe randomly in the stands when he was watching a 4-day game, and he'd ask me, "Who do I think is the next best talent?" And I would say, and he'd often have a different person in his mind that he thinks is good, and I'd go into the reasons on why, and a lot of the times it had to do with mental strength, the way the person thinks about the game, how tough he is, how he takes criticism, and also on top of it, the humbleness of the player. A lot of the players that he's backed in the past, they have a sense of confidence and a little bit of arrogance in them, but they're extremely humble at the same time. They believe in themselves, but they don't necessarily show that to the public. They show it on the field in the middle. So it's important that we try to understand the personalities that are taking over as Proteas head coach, and that's why I wanted to do the show today. I wanted to get you guys an opportunity to see what these coaches are like as human beings, as mental coaches, etc., and as coaches in general. And that's why I wanted to bring the show to you. It's 100% also, I want to also get your thoughts, and I'm probably going to start the show off with regards to that at the beginning. I want to get some of your thoughts in as well. So let's start with the comment section so long. Lauren saying, Khalid, so I read what Enoch had to say in the press of the day. We have heard all of this before, putting systems in place, building structures, planning for the future, fancy words. It's time to see it. And you are 100% correct. And I think this is a step in the right direction. I think the reasons for picking these coaches and the fact that they pick these coaches that also have a mentality of building youth and thinking about that, for example, especially Shukri, working with the emerging team, high performance as well as working at the Cobras and at Gauteng at a high level. He's always backed youngsters in his time. If they're good enough, they're old enough, kind of. So I like the direction that they've gone with this. I told you guys when you asked me who from the list, who would I want to see as coach? And I said I want to see one position as coach because we're playing such a little test cricket. I want to see one person and I want to see Shukri take over the role for both because I think his knowledge in white ball cricket can also be very good. But I think that these two can work in tandem. I think they both can work together and they can um, cross or share ideas with each other with regards to the formats. Because I do think that 50 over can be very closely attached to Test cricket, the way Test cricket's going. So you can also learn patience, especially with top order batter in 50 over cricket, in my opinion. So I think that the two coaches will work side by side. And I think they'll work together on trying to take cricket forward. Official TV say incredible match. It was an incredible match to watch. It was very, very good, and I'm glad. I know I'm a Cape Town fan. Am I Cape Town fan because I'm based in Cape Town, and I'm going to not be shy about it. So, with regards to that, but Sunrisers has always been the Warriors and PE has always had a soft space in my heart. I've had a lot of good memories in PE as a journalist, not only as a journalist, but also as a judoka, young judoka, and as a lifesaver in the past. I've always had a very good and nice attachment with the people in PE, and I've also had a very nice attachment with the city itself. I always had a lot of fun there, always enjoyed my time spending there. Um, I can't necessarily stay there for very long, maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe, but I enjoy my time. It's a nice place for me to clear my head. Even East London as well. I enjoyed that, my time spending my time in East London too. So it was an incredible match, and I'm actually happy that the Sunrisers Eastern Cape won. And the reason is because now there's no bottom feeder necessarily in the tournament. I think if SEC had 3 defeats, it would have been a very different story. But I don't want to talk about the game right now. Let's keep it for the end of the show. Lawrence saying, time to support our coaches. 2 very good coaches was appointed by CSA. People who ask who Shukri Conrad clearly hasn't been watching nor following domestic cricket in South Africa. If you don't know who Shukri Conrad is, then I really, really have to question your knowledge on cricket in South Africa, because the man is literally a legend in South African cricket. So you should know who he is. You should know what he's done for the game, definitely, because when Shukri Conrad walks in a stadium, people turn heads, they look, people whisper, they say, there's Shukri. Are we going to go talk to him? Are we not? He just has a certain aura and confidence about him. He played first class cricket after his playing days, went into coaching very young as well, and has been very successful. Won trophy with the Lions on his first season, won the Cups with the Cobras since 14, coach of the academy. I've read out the accolades already. Sadiq says, Khalid, do we have the? We don't. I'm still waiting on CSA to actually send us the audio for the press conference. I had to go through my own connections to get the audio so we could write the story. We still haven't received the press conference, and we still haven't received the audio for this. I don't understand why not, and I don't know when we are going to get it, but I'm hoping that we do very soon. Guy has good pedigree. He's also responsible for the next stars coming through the system, like Brevis, Bird, Alder, Bose, Simalani. Conrad has a very good record of developing young players, and with the direction it looks like CSA wants to take, he certainly first fits the profile. In my opinion, a very good appointment. In my opinion, very, very too. Sadiq, I have explained what happened with the press conference. I don't have it for you guys. I'm more worried about players getting retired soon. That also main players about to make a report or something about World Cup exit. I haven't seen it. I also haven't seen it. I'm waiting for it too. To be honest, I'm on the fence about Malani. Start slow and remain slow. Quinton de Kock needs someone who can. Yeah, but Deva Brevis needs to open the batting in T20 cricket for me now. I'm or Ryan Rickleton, one of the two, and then bring Deva at 3. But those guys have been excellent in this tournament so far. They've shown it once again, and I think that we need to bring those youngsters in. I remember Rickleton on this channel said Shukri is kind of coach who wants batsmen to play according to conditions. If conditions are good, but team is 2 down, you would ask batsmen to go for it. Who will be the interim coach for the ODI series against England? We do not know yet. The announcement will be made when the team is announced. I said that at the head of the show. I wonder if Shukri will have input on what gets selected for the test squad. Would be good if he does. He will definitely be involved with that. If the coaches prior had it, I hope that he will. So you guys are asking a lot of questions about Shukri. So I'm going to start off the show with that. I've got a special interview from someone that I interviewed early on today to give you some insight into Shukri Conrad and the person that he is and the cricketer and the type of coach that he is. So I'm going to play that for you guys right now. So enjoy.
The chairman of Montrose Cricket Club. Been the chairman for about 15 years now. Been at this club my entire life. My dad and brother started this club in District 6, 1950. So cricket has been pretty much in my blood. And this room and this house has been the clubhouse for Montrose in all that time. Yeah, sure, it goes back a long time, and yeah, I mean, we overly proud. So yeah, I first met Shooks when he joined our club. I probably was about 10 years old. I don't want to give my age away, but we're talking about 30 odd years ago. So as a young boy, met Shooks, in awe of him, heard of him. So I grew up being coached by him. Lucky enough then to have played with him, out in the middle, in the heat of battle, batted with him, got advice from him, saw what he's about, the character. Um, and then he moved on to his coaching career, and we've always been close. I lived with him in England. So, yeah, from coaching, playing, spending time away from the game, I pretty much know him all my life. So I don't think I've met many people with the confidence that Shooks has in himself. And then he makes you believe, and he makes everyone around him believe, makes the team believe. And the thing about him is he said something, and he backed himself, and he would go out and do it. So for me, that confidence that he has, and he's able to inspire those around him. And there's a hardness to him, make no mistake. There's a hardness. He's a winner. He is a winner. Yeah, no, 100%. With Shooks, you know exactly what you're going to get. It's going to be attacking, it's going to be positive, it's going to be hard cricket. That's the way Shooks is, and it's clear. You can see a plan, you know how he goes about it. So with him, there'll be a clear structure as to how the team is going to go about their business. Sure, there's so many. I think I'll take one in a club match, in a 2-day match. We were probably 100 and odd behind going into day two. Pretty much no hope. And that was back in the day, where it was all about defending and blocking and trying to bat the day out. And I remember very clearly Shooks came and he said, listen, we're not even going to warm up today. And we can't block 110, 120 overs. We're going to counter attack. And we're like, what do you mean? Like, what? And he went in and he alone scored 160 himself, boundary after boundary. And that was the mindset. He's always been ahead of the game, ahead of the times, if I can say it that way. Yeah, I think so. Look, make no mistake, it's a big job where they are at the moment. But if I look at the team right now, they need someone like him. I think the team needs change and they need direction. He will have a clear game plan. And I also feel we're kind of behind the world in how we play the game. And he will play it in the way that modern cricket is being played. Also, if you look at the team, there's an aging batting unit, and he's been working with the next tier of guys. So I think a couple of hard decisions need to be made with that batting lineup, and he will make them. Make no mistake, Shooks will make that, and he'll put a plan in place. So I think he's the perfect guy. He's been working with the next tier of batters. He was just the S-19 coach working with your Dierwald Brevises of this world. So for me, he's the perfect guy. Also, I think currently they need someone that has that hardness. That's going to be hard on the guys in the right way. I think that's what we need right now. So for me, he's the perfect man for the job. Sure, Shooks, we come a long way, but we all proud of you. The whole community, the club. I mean, we're sitting in this room here where, aptly enough, Shooks actually told my dad and myself that he was finished playing and he's going to start coaching. It was in this room. So Shooks, we're so proud of you. The whole community is proud of you. I just asked the people to give him time. He's got a 4-year contract. It's not going to happen overnight, but let's back him. We back you, Shooks, the club, the community, in the country. We're fully behind you.
Yeah, so that was a little message from the chairman of Montrose Cricket Club, someone that grew up with Shukri Conrad, that played with him, etc., and knows him quite well, as you heard. That very emotional speech at the end as a message to Shukri Conrad. So that's the type of person that we're going to be dealing with when it comes to the coaching role. Someone that is ahead of his time. I mean, when I spoke to him on this channel as well, I had a lot of insights from him, of course, when it comes to that. So he gave me that insight into playing a positive brand of cricket and an attacking brand of cricket. And it's amazing that someone that came through that era has that type of attacking mentality, because we know about traditional test cricket, blocking it out, being a gritty player, and playing it that way. But the way the modern day is going today, it's baseball and all this nonsense. People want to play a more attacking brand of test cricket for entertainment purposes. I mean, they were even speculating or fishing with the idea of having 4-day test cricket, which I don't like at all. I know some people might be in favor of that, but me personally, I like the 5 days. So yeah, I'm hoping that this is going to work out the way we are predicting it's going to work out, or we're hoping that it will. A lot of us in this community, or a lot of us in Cape Town, at least, I feel, think, or are happy about disappointment. And me personally, looking forward, I think that we need someone that is tough, that doesn't take crap from anybody, like that will stand his ground if he makes a decision and doesn't get swayed into decisions or gets pushed into the corner by politics or by other reasons. Shukri Conrad is a very confident man. He believes in himself, and I don't think that he will get bullied into situations or into scenarios. And I think that's something that we need as a coach. You guys know I'm a Manchester United fan. I've spoken about it. I haven't actually mentioned 2-1 to City. Yes, come on, boy. 2-1 to United. Sorry, against City. Yes, boys. Anyway, but besides that, um, I'm a big fan of that discipline. So Alex Ferguson had it at Man United for many, many years. Doesn't take crap of anything. What he says goes. Um, and he knows which players to nurture and to put an arm around, and he knows which players to get a reaction out of. And I feel that to an extent that Shukri Conrad is a person like that too. I think he's a good reader of a person and a good reader of a player, particularly when it comes to cricket and what type of cricketer you are. Uh, I've watched him sum up such like guys. I'm not even joking here. I've sat in the stands with him, and he's predicted when wickets are going to fall. He predicted when certain batters are going to lose their head. He predicted how much certain batters are going to score on a specific day. His ability to read the game and the conditions and the situation and character of a player is second to none, really, in my opinion. And I know I've been speaking a lot about Shukri. I'm waiting for our guest to come on to speak about Rob Walter. He's busy finding the report, obviously, for the game against from between SEC and MI Cape Town. So we're just gonna wait a couple of minutes, and I'm gonna read some of your comments out so long before we get some education, because I need some education on Rob Walters. I'm Walter. I'm not gonna lie. He was the coach in 2013 of the Titans before I was even involved in cricket, way before I was involved in cricket. So I'm going to lie if I sit here and say that I know who he is and what he's done. I know that he was part of the Proteas, successful Proteas team as a trainer, etc., and a fitness trainer. I know he was a part of that. But as a coach, I don't know too much about him. And that's why I need someone that's a little bit more of an expert on him to be able to give us some education, guys, on what type of man we're going to be dealing with in the white ball arena. So let's get into some of the comment section so long, and let me see what you guys have to say over here. I can't remember where I ended off, guys. I've answered this to the new guys that are coming in. Who will be the interim for the ODI series against England? They will announce it with the team, and it will happen, I think, quite soon, of course, because the 1st of February is when they start their jobs. I'm also trying very hard to work on getting both of the coaches on our show to be able to have a conversation with them and try to understand how they think about the game. It's in the process, I feel. I wonder if Shukri will have input to get selected. I've already answered that. I think he will. I hope that they do have a conversation about the selectors, etc., and they manage to decide what they're going to do with regards to the selection panel and how much say the coach has with regards to it. I think right now at this point, we need Shukri to be involved with regards to selection, because I think that a lot of the generation that we like, you know, we like the Matthew Breedskis, the Reinhard van Tonders, and all of these guys that are came through the system, etc. Joshua Richards, all of them. Shukri is very aware of these youngsters coming through and the characters that we have. Marcus Ackerman, all of these guys, Aiden Markram, the guys that we know, Zubair Hamza. He knows these guys, their characters, their mentalities. He's seen them through high performances at the High Performance Center. He has a very good and deep understanding of the young cricketers in this country. So I do think that that's going to be excellent. Did you see the article by ESPN Cricket for Fidos? It includes some insight of press conference. Enoch said that our main aim is to qualify for ODI World Cup. We won't judge what happens in the World Cup. I think that's poor. I don't. It didn't say that exactly. To be honest, what he said in the presser, because I was in the presser, what he did say is there's a main focus on the 2027 World Cup. These ones are important. Yes, they are still important. They do want to win, but they're focusing on the qualifiers right now. The importance is on the qualifiers and trying to qualify for it first. I don't think that he didn't sit there and say he doesn't care about so I don't think that is the narrative. I think you're twisting Sividos's words there a little bit, or Enoch's words a little bit. Rob will join after England series when fate of ODI team automatically qualifying for World Cup or not is already decided. If I was in place of Rob, I would have joined before England. Khalid, if CSA gives Shukri the freedom of the test side within a year or two, we'll see a whole different test side in the way we play and how we play cricket. He will transform the test side. I believe that too. Everything what I heard about him, he said could hopefully takes us ahead. We can't play attacking cricket because we have Dean, yeah, Bavuma, all can't play attacking cricket. But I think there's going to be an axe and a change in the setup completely. That's my opinion. I'm always going to have to ask Shukri this himself when he does eventually come on the show. I'm going to obviously have to ask him whether what his approach is going to be going forward. Is it going to be a young, fresh, new squad that grows together, or is it going to be a core group of players that he's going to build a team around from the current setup? So I'm going to have to ask him those questions if I do get an interview with him. Um, Malan has looked short on confidence, in my opinion. Brevis might be a better choice. Also, been impressed with Mulder and how he has done for DSG. Um, we've got another comment here. I agree with you. Your playing style, Shukri will employ. Brevis is not ready to play ODI right now. He needs time. He plays one dimensional, also can't play swing, so needs time. I've always said to you guys that our players need time. We mustn't put so much pressure on them to push them into the national side too soon. When they're ready, they will be picked. And I think right now, with these two guys in place, that is exactly what will happen. We need to also develop because even though Brevis is an amazing talent and he's fantastic, there are still learning curves in his game. There are still things that he needs to learn, and he will admit that if I speak to him too. I'm sure of it. So we need to be patient with these guys. Give them an opportunity, yes, but be patient and understanding. I think we've, as a fan base, maybe did an injustice to someone like Aiden Markram. There was a hell of a lot of pressure on Aiden since he walked into the test team. He scored on his debut, not in his first innings, but in the second innings. He he was fantastic in that series against Australia and India, and people expected him to just be that in every single match. They got thrown in the middle of nowhere. Well, not in the middle of nowhere. They got thrown in the middle of a rank turner in India, and everybody batted poorly and failed. And the the eyes were on Aiden, on why can't he. There was a lot of articles and things that was put out on Aiden and whether he's the real deal or not, and whether Australia and India were flukes. And I saw fans say this obviously on social media, etc. And I think we put too much pressure on our young boys when they don't perform. I think we need to be a little bit more patient with our guys and let them develop into the cricketers we believe they can be. It takes time. This is going to take time. It's a 4-year project with regards to the test team. It's going to take time. It's going to take patience. We need to back our coaches to the T. I've backed every coach that has come in until they got fired and until I saw things went wrong. So I might not have liked Boucher's appointment beforehand, but I still backed him as the coach. And I'm going to do the same over here. I like this appointment, but I'm also going to back them till the end and try to give them the time and respect the time that they have in this job to try and rebuild because it's the hardest job I think that we've ever had in South African cricket. Every other previous coach in every generation had a generational talents within their team to help them out of bad situations. This time around, we do not have that. We have a bowling attack that is young and in their prime at the moment that we need to nurture. But with regards to our batters, we have no leaders. We saw that Dean Alga with the captaincy doesn't know how to swing a bat anymore. He's struggling to find. I mean, we're starting to see technical glitches in his game, which shouldn't be happening at all. So I think the pressure maybe got to him, and that's why he's going out leg side all the time. He might be able to explain it a lot better on the reasons why. This is just on what I see personally when I'm watching the game. Going out consistently to the same deliveries is a little bit, how can I say, to be a little bit nicer on the batters. Okay, it's weak to be fair. Someone like him of his stature, I don't feel that he should be the person that should be making those mistakes. I can understand if Sadal Irvia, who hasn't played Test cricket as much as Dean Alga, making those mistakes, or Kai Zondo making those mistakes, but I don't understand how a player like Dean can be making those mistakes, and that was a little bit worrying to me. I do believe that maybe it's just a little bit of pressure, knowing that there is no fallback plan below him, because Dean has batted in teams, very strong teams, where everybody else around him is more talented than him. He's even admitted himself in press conferences. So he's always had in the back of his mind, knowing that someone's going to come in and maybe score 200 or 150 or 100. Abid de Villiers, Hashim Amla, Quentin de Kock, Temba Bavuma. Okay, maybe not hundreds with Temba, but Quentin de Kock, Temba, all of these guys, Faf du Plessis, all below him, knowing that there wasn't pressure for him to fail necessarily. There wasn't no pressure of failure for him. If he failed, there were players in the back end that could save the team. So now, at this moment, Dean knows that the pressure is going to be on the younger, newer guys or the newer guys in the team if he loses his wicket. And it almost looks like he's trying to force runs so that he can take the pressure off quicker, and then he loses his wicket. I don't know if that is a correct analysis of the situation, but that's just my observation of the situation. People might not know Rob Walter was part of the Proteas team in past and as strength and conditioning coach. I know that, but I'm talking about as a coach. I don't know him well as a coach. Like obviously in 2013, I wasn't in cricket at all. I was still trying to be an aspiring judoka. So I wasn't focused on cricket and entertainment necessarily as much. I was focused on judo training, school and training. Basically, that was my life. Today I saw the most vile stuff about Shukri. Absolutely nothing was said about Walter, and that says a lot. Why is our country like this? It's sickening. But Lorenzo, this is exactly what I fight. This is exactly why I'm so strict on this channel about the words used and the way we come at certain players. It's because of this exactly. And I know you guys don't mean it sometimes. Not you guys, I'm talking about generally speaking. Fans on Twitter and stuff. Sometimes you guys don't mean it and you criticize a person of color, but you don't understand the repercussions that comes with it. So that's why I say just maybe tone it down a bit or change the way you think about it before you criticize. We have to think differently because of this, and it's a problem. Racism is a problem. Unconscious bias and general bias is a problem when it comes to people of color in this country, especially in cricket. It's just something that a reality that we have to deal with, of course. I'll just read one more comment before we get our special guest on the show. Similar to what Jacques Ninabed was doing in the past before becoming the Springboks coach. Yes. We need to know more about Rob, as a test team will play very little cricket in the next 4 years. And yes, that's why I'm bringing on my next special guest, because he needs to educate us all on this. Welcome to the show, Ken. How are you doing? He's just on mute. You're on mute.
Yes, sorry.
Hello,
Khalid.
How are you doing?
Thanks very much for having me on, Khalid, and hello to all your listeners and viewers.
I can. So Ken was just filing his report, guys. So that's why I told you guys just wait, because we needed his opinion on this and his thoughts on this. So Ken, Rob Walter, I know that he was obviously involved as a strength and conditioning coach with the Proteas, in a successful period in our career, etc. In the Proteas this time. But I don't know much about him as a coach, because I wasn't involved in cricket at the time when he was at the Titans, etc., winning all those trophies. So can you maybe give me some insight into him as a personality, as a coach, as how he thinks about the game, particularly in the white ball arena, and if you think it's a good appointment, of course.
Yeah, well, Rob started off as a very keen club cricketer. Played for Tuckies. He was a good, decent club cricketer, passionate about his cricket, but studied strength and conditioning at Rhodes University. So that was his career after studies, and his passion for cricket and his excellence at what he did got him all the way into the Proteas setup, as you said. But he had a yearning and a passion to take up coaching, which was an amazing move, really. And the Titans took a bit of a gamble on him back in 2013. They'd been through a bit of a lean time. Results had slipped a bit from the sort of all-conquering side, the dominant side a few years previously. And so they took a bit of a chance on Rob Walter, and he really did wonders. He did exceptionally well, winning 5 trophies across all 3 competitions in 3 years in charge. And I really think he did the masonry, he did the stonework for the powerful Titan side that developed, that Mark Boucher took over. And in terms of his playing philosophy, a very positive guy. And, in fact, in the last season when Rob was coach in 2016, that kind of positivity and aggression and taking the game forward in one-day cricket was when the Titans scored 403 times in a season in the one-day cup. Guys like Markram, Henry Davids, Heinrich Klaassen, Tiernis de Bruin, really going big. So I think Rob is going to be a very positive appointment. Obviously, since then, he's gone to New Zealand and did very well both with Otago and Central Districts, again, especially in white ball cricket. And I think also just being part of that New Zealand setup, they're masters of getting the best out of quite limited resources. And they always play such clever cricket, very clever cricket, and always back themselves so much, New Zealand. And I think some of that has probably rubbed off on Rob as well. It's going to be exciting and great to have him back in South African cricket.
So when it comes to development of youngsters, is that something that he's keen for? Or was he keen for that in his time at the Titans?
Yeah, well, I think he did a lot for the careers of guys like Aiden Markram, Heinrich Klaassen, Tiernis de Bruin, Junior Dala, Tabrei Shamsi. A lot of guys who were just starting out in franchise cricket when Rob was there. Look, he's a pragmatic man as well. So he does value, he was very chuffed to have Dean Elgar come to the Titans from the Knights as an experienced batsman. So, but I think Rob will. I mean, he'll recognise the need for a bit of refreshing of the Proteas. It was mentioned already today by Enoch Nkwe, Director of Cricket, that there's going to need to be some renewal in that team. And if you just look at the age profile of the current Proteas squad, it's inevitable. In 5 years' time, there's going to be a whole lot of new faces. So it's important how they manage that process.
And in your observation or your opinion on the 2 coaches, obviously of Shukri as well, I want to ask you, do you think they will work in tandem? Because it sounds like they have a similar type of mindset when it comes to the game.
Yeah, it's both coaching appointments just make you feel that there's always hope. Because, Rob Walter left South Africa feeling maybe that he wouldn't get further opportunities and wanted to grow as a coach. He's now returning as Proteas coach. Shukri Conrad has been in the system for a really, really long time. He's done the hard yards. He's worked through that pipeline. Successful franchise coach, a long time ago for the Lions and the Cobras. And, he just kept applying, kept knocking on the door, kept applying. And fantastic to see such a great cricket man as Shukri Conrad. He was also obviously a very fine player in his day. As well, unfortunately, unification came right at the end of his playing career, but a really good coach, and so I'm delighted for Shukri as well. Yeah, I think they're both they're pretty pragmatic cricket men. There's not too many frills about them. I think they both really value hard work. Fielding will be important. Fitness will be important. Shukri, having been exposed so much to the young talent in the country, I'm sure will be backing that as well. He's obviously the current SA Under-19 coach, but he is also head of the academy at a time, has been involved with SAA as well. So, yeah, I think they'll dovetail together just fine.
Yeah. So we've got a couple of questions for you from the fans over here. Lawrence wants to know, Ken, do you think he has the character, or Rob is talking about, and bottle for the job in terms of dealing with all the challenges as a head coach and also dealing with everything that comes with the job?
Yeah, hi Lawrence. Follow you, see a lot of your tweets. Good stuff, Lawrence. Yeah, I think Rob has been through the mill as a franchise coach, and so he had a lot of challenges as franchise coach because Titans had so many good players, and there were times when he couldn't play them all, so he had to deal with man management there, keeping guys happy when they're not playing. And, just in terms of Bottle, when he started at the Titans, they weren't doing very well. And in fact, in 4-day cricket, his first season in charge, they finished last. And they were a bit better in the limited over stuff. And, Rob kind of identified that he really wanted 4-day cricket to improve a lot, while also building on the white ball stuff. And it was quite a struggle. I mean, he had a lot of work to do to get the Titans up to speed in red ball cricket. And they played some really brave white ball cricket in finals as well. I think a couple of those 400 scores were in finals, which takes quite a lot of bottle to go out and do that. So, yeah, I think Rob, he was, of course, in the Proteas change room for a lot as well, when he was a strength and conditioning coach. So he knows the pressures of international cricket.
Yeah. And the final question for you, Ken, before you, because I know you're quite tired, you just finished a long report. So, Ken, don't you think you have two different coaches with some backroom staff can cause confusion? Are we going to see two different backroom staffs for the test and limited overs teams? It's interesting you're asking this question because Ken asked this question in the presser.
Yeah, Siddiqui, good question. I asked more on the financial side because CSA are very cash-strapped, as CEO Paletsi Maseki reminded again today. He said, we're not exactly flush yet. And paying two coaches is obviously going to be a bit of a drain, but they feel it's worthwhile for the good of the Proteas, which is great. I'm glad that the good of cricket is being put first. We don't know yet about the backroom staff. That still has to be decided.
Yep.
And maybe because of financial constraints, maybe there will have to be a bit of overlapping between the two, which is not a bad thing. Look, it's going to be very important, and Enoch Nkwe stressed it today that he believes Shukri and Rob will be on the same page, same philosophies, same approaches. But that obviously is going to be a key thing going forward.
Yeah, Dex wants to know, will there be two new captains? They spoke about it in the press as well. They are in conversations with the captains. But Ken, you can elaborate on this a bit for them.
Now, that's going to be a really interesting thing to see moving forward. The England's ODI series coming up later this month. Apparently, Rob Walter will have input into selection. And we currently sit in a situation where both our national captains have really struggled with their respective teams. I mean, Themba Bavuma's had a really torrid time in T20 cricket, and Dean Elgar has had a really shocking tour of Australia as Test captain. So there are big question marks over both those captains in terms of their future roles. So it's going to be very interesting to see, does Rob Walter still want Themba as his T20 captain? Does he want him as his ODI captain? In Test cricket, will Shukri Conrad think, right, now's the time for the West Indies series to maybe give the captaincy to Themba and bring in another opening batsman? So it's going to be very intriguing to see the short-term future of both Themba Bavuma and Dean Elgar.
Yeah, and Shukri has always been a no-nonsense type of guy. So
he's not scared.
So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens there. Lee has an interesting one for you. It's not necessarily related to the two coaches, but he wants to know, do you think Victor Mpusang should hold a press conference when the Proteas squads are announced and going forward to clarify selectors? I think so, personally. And what do you think, Ken?
100%, Lee. Yeah, very good question. I agree. I'm fortunate to be able to phone him and get hold of him and ask questions about selection. But I do believe it's important. The national team, and there often are so many questions which just with a bit of clarification, you can actually see, okay, well, that makes sense. And it avoids a lot of unnecessary speculation and strife.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Deek wants a little bit more clarification on the coaching roles behind the scenes. He says, who will decide the backroom staff that is going to cause confusion, as usually coaches decide their backroom staff. I think because of their philosophies, I think they will probably be on the same page. They'll probably come to heads about certain people, but I'm sure that the ones that are overlapping, they'll both agree on. What do you think, Ken?
Yeah, I agree, Khalid. Yeah, and I think obviously Enoch Nkwe as director of cricket will have a big say as well. I mean, I think he will try to give the coaches the guys they want, but obviously it's got to fit into his plans as well, and where he sees South African cricket going. There's a guy, Malibongwe Maketa, who just constantly seems to take one step forward and two steps back. And every time it's the same platitude we hear. He's very important to South African cricket. We've got a big plan for him. We're carefully managing him, but he just never seems to crack the top job, which is a pity. So I really hope that either Malibongwe remains head coach of SAA and they play a lot more, or maybe it's time for him to become a head coach at a franchise so he can really show what he's worth. Hopefully, why I say that is that, and I have discussed this with Enoch Nkwe because he experienced it himself. To be an assistant coach can actually be a bit of kiss of death for your coaching career, because you're not so much a coach as a ball thrower and a net organizer, and it's not necessarily a very good move for an ambitious coach.
Mm-hmm. So, Ken, I just want to get your final thoughts on the two appointments and how good you think this would be for the future of South African cricket going forward over the next 5 years or so.
Well, I think it's exciting because it's two very passionate men. Shukri has been in the system for so long. This will be a dream job for him. He knows South African cricket so well. He's been involved through the ups and downs. Through a few very successful eras, a few eras that have struggled. I can't think of too many people who know more about South African talent and the pipeline than Shukri, and I think he'll bring some good old-fashioned values to the test team, some disciplines, some basics, so that's great. Rob Walter, very exciting for one-day cricket. Again, very passionate man, very driven. This is his dream job as well. He's been dying for a chance at international level, and just to get some fresh input coming from New Zealand. He'll have some fresh ideas, and I think it's exciting. Let's wish them both all the very best.
Thanks a lot, Ken, for giving your time to us and coming to chat on the show. I know it's a later show than normal, but thanks a lot for giving us your time and your thoughts.
Pleasure, Khalid. Thanks very much for having me.
Awesome. I'll chat to you very soon. See you.
Reported.
Bye.
Yes.
Good. Awesome, guys. That was amazing. We got some insights from Ken. He was also in the presser. You can ask me questions. Guys, you see, sometimes when you read stories, for example, and the quotes, etc., sometimes writers will use the quotes to suit their narrative, kind of. They want to push a certain narrative, and then they use the quotes to kind of back that up. Some people don't even go to the press conferences. They get the audio and they just write a story based on that, so they don't get the real mood. Some people just get sent the parts that they think they should write, and then they write the piece and they put it out there. So it's very, very, very important that we do those type of things, that we understand the context and everything, and understand the philosophy first of Enoch, because then if you understand the philosophy of Enoch, you understand the philosophy of Shukri, and you understand the philosophy of Rob Walter, then you can understand the quotes a lot better, because then it will suit it will come together nicely as a big, massive puzzle. So it's my time to give you guys some answers in the comment section over here. I want to read some of your questions. I like to interact with you guys, and I haven't been doing it too much lately, so I've been missing it. So yeah, I am doing it. Let's see. let's go. Sadiq asked a lot of questions. Did Jeffrey Toyana apply? I'm actually not 100% sure. I need to actually ask him that question. I never actually asked him if he did. I thought he should have, because I also thought that he was someone that could be in contention for it. Delva Brevis into the T20 side against West Indies again. Oh, sorry. If you're asking me that question, I say yes. I think 100%. I think Dewar needs to get into the setup as soon as possible in T20 game. I think T20 is ready. Yes, there are still things in his arsenal that he needs to improve. The short ball is something that he struggles with a bit. Maybe a little bit of swing. Spin he plays exceptionally well. That means I think he'll do really well against the likes of India, Sri Lanka, the subcontinent teams. But the swing bowling, I think that you'll get that under his belt very soon. He's a very talented boy. He picks up things very quickly. So I do think with the right guidance, and I think now that he does have the right guidance. You know what's nice about this as well is that our coach Shukri is also was a very good batter. So when it comes to approaches and reading conditions as a batsman, as a batter, he has a lot of insight and good insight into that. And he's seen a lot of young batters come through the system and has guided them. Um, yeah, there was a story about an emerging side that played Sri Lanka in South Africa, and there was a young cricketer at the time that scored a double century. And from what I've heard from people around, said that a lot had to do with Shukri backing him and giving him the confidence to do so. Off the topic, Khalid, title race between Arsenal and United. Hey, no, 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 no. Don't put us in the title race, please. We're gonna crumble under pressure. Look here. I'm not ready for the title race yet. I just want to enjoy our football right now and see us develop as a nation, as a nation, as a club. See, I'm talking cricket here. You're asking me soccer questions. Get confused. Khalid, about the performance coach, what is his role? What you mean about the performance coach? So Enoch said in the article that we did, go check it out on Cricket Fanatics magazine, that there are talks about having a mental coaching performance or performance coach that works on the mental game. Sports psychologist was my question, because I think this team needs a sports psychologist, a person that can help these players be able to handle pressure situations, and try and get themselves out of that. Our players get put under that pressure from a very young age, and they've never been taught how to deal with it. They kind of just learn it. So I'm hoping that we get a mental coach in, or people don't like to be called mental coaches because it sounds like they're a mental coach. No, I'm just joking. But in general, people like to be rather let's talk about them as a sports psychologist coming into the system. I would like to see a sports psychologist get involved with the team. Someone that not can, and Enoch said he doesn't want someone that is just going to be there a couple of months, whatever. He needs to be there for a long, extended period of time. And they come at a very high price. That was actually something that I wanted to do, guys. It was something that I was going to venture in. That's why I studied I studied psychology as well as communications, because I wanted to somehow go into sports psychology, um, and try and go down that route. That was one of my passions when I was younger. But then another passion came up that I was way more passionate about. Disappointing game on Saturday for the T20 from an entertainment point of view. Yeah, true. Chase is doing terribly, and I don't know what's going on there. Um, Good win for Sunrisers, and I think the Sunrisers will get even better with Herman coming in the top order. Yeah, that's a player that they're missing. I was like, something's wrong with this batting lineup. I was like, it seems like there's something missing. It could very well be a Herman. Oh, by the way, I just want to say well done to Cyril Evia. Hey, he really bloody impressed me today. And I've been quite harsh on him in the test arena recently about the conversion rates, etc. And I'm not trying to target the guy. I was just trying to be open and honest about the situation. But today he hit the ball out the stadium at St. George's Park. Didn't convert, guys. He didn't convert. So I'm just joking. He played a very good knock. Him and Aiden's partnership was incredible. I think it was 90 odd. Aiden batted beautifully, and again, guys, 50 and out, and going out to a beautiful stroke as well. It's something that Aiden needs to work on. How do you think we must manage Kagiso Rabada going forward, concerning he's 28 this year? No comment. What are your views on fielding standards of SA20? I don't think it's been too bad from what the games that I've seen. I haven't seen too many drop catches, or am I mistaken? Maybe that's just the games I've watched live. Shukri should be given the license to be his own man. His captaincy and playing ability back in the 90s, 100% for Montrose was legendary. I agree with you. I think he needs to have the final say when it comes to team selection. I think he should get advice from Victor or Pat Baroni, or whoever the selectors are going to be. He needs to get advice from them and allow them to do some scouting for him and select the team. But I think he needs to have a massive weight in the decision. I think the equality needs to be split. And I think Shukri should make the biggest stake out of that to make the final decision. I recommend Paddy Upton, who worked with team in the Gary Kirsten era. Paddy Upton is very good as well. I don't know how pricey he is, but he's very good. I think we wrote an article on him in the magazine recently, guys. If you want to read some of Paddy Upton's comments on certain things, read our magazine. I think we've got a couple of exclusives on him in the magazine, in a monthly magazine. Download, the link is in the description. It's 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month. Geef Lenda again showed on Patsang what he can do with both bat and ball. George Linder, I think Shukri, but you see, I think Shukri will. I can't speak on Shukri's behalf, actually. I'm not going to say that. But I think George Linder is someone that could. Let me swap it. I think George Linder is a type of player that has the mentality to suit the Shukri Conrad type of team. Enoch speaks about Walter won't be judged on a performance at this year's World Cup, which is fair, in my opinion. Too small of a window for Rob. Exactly. I agree. Like, we want to judge Malipongwe on this test series. It's wrong. I think it is a little bit unfair the way he's been treated over the years. But in my opinion, though, when you put Malibongwe's credentials with Shukri and with Rob and with the rest of them, well, particularly with Shukri and with Burrell and with other guys that were also involved with Pibus, their CVs look a lot better than what Malibongwe's does, because Malibongwe's never been given the opportunity he deserves, and that's to coach a national team. I agree with Ken and what he said. I understand that Enoch's going to be speaking to him, and I understand that Enoch's going to be says that he's valuable to South African cricket, which he is, and I 100% agree. But I want to see them maybe give him a role that's going to give him the importance and the stature and the status that he deserves, the recognition he deserves, because he did an excellent job. Because, okay, maybe I'm a bit biased, because when I came into the industry, Malibongwe was the coach at the Warriors. So I had a lot of conversations with him about the Warriors, and they were doing exceptionally well that year. So from my views and the plays that came through him, etc., the mentality of those Warriors players that has carried on throughout the other teams, Malipongwe deserves a lot more credit than he deserves. I do believe that he's most valuable at SAA level at this moment in time, because I think it's invaluable what he does for players, the way that makes them feel confident and comfortable within themselves. I think that's very important for development of cricketers at a very young age. So, in my opinion, I would make sure that he gets more games as a SAA coach, like Ken actually said earlier on. What's your thoughts on Stubbs and Donovan Farina against the West Indies? 100% put them in the team. Cyril Ewe played well today. He definitely did. Khalid Marco is turning out to be a very good all-rounder. I told you guys that he is a good batter, and then I was told that I'm stupid, that I don't know what I'm talking about. He is a very good. He has a potential to be a very good batter, and he's going to become a very good all-rounder, in my opinion. But you know what the difference is between him and the other all-rounders? There are a lot more talented all-rounders in the country, in my opinion. There's a lot of others that are there. The one thing that differentiates Marco Jansen from the rest is mentality. The boy has a winning mentality, and he's not afraid. He is fearless. He's humble. He has a winning mentality. He hates losing. He can scrap when he needs to scrap. He's a complete cricketer, in my opinion. And that's what I think. Henry must not come from injury he suffered against the current team. Yeah, he is. He batted in the nets today and was running on drinks. So getting back to full fitness probably in next game. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, but that's what was missing. I was completely forgot about Jordan Herman. Do you think Victor should have the final say? No, I think that Shukri should have the final say in selection. Shukri's been in enough situations to be able to have the final say in selection. I think he should, because Shukri has the ability to be able to read people very, very well. He can sense when a player is off his game and not off his game just by their body language. That's like I said, sitting in the stands with him, he could predict when players are going to score hundreds or 50s or get scores, etc. He's okay. I'm not going to put this whole pressure on his shoulders by labeling him. He's not a. I'm not going to say he's a messiah necessarily from that perspective, and he's not a fortune teller. So I don't think that he's going to be able to get it right every time. But majority of the time, he's quite accurate when it comes to reading a player's character, just by watching him on the field, such shot selection that they normally do, because he watches players. He watches a hell of a lot of cricket. Like I said, I caught him at Saks the other day watching the Cape Festival. Like he watches youth cricket. His son is at school too, so he understands school cricket. And that's also very important for a national coach to understand. Where I felt that Mark Boucher couldn't care about anything else but the national team and about himself and his little bubble around him. So that's just my opinion on the matter. Doesn't mean that it's right. I would love to talk to Mark Boucher and bring him on the show and do a catch up where he's open and honest and he doesn't have the pressures of CSA and the Proteas, and he can be 100% open and honest with me and tell me to my face that I'm an idiot. I would rather prefer an interview like that with Mark Boucher than have a Mark Boucher interview where it's controlled by what he has to say. I would rather have the open, honest, raw Mark Boucher on this show telling me exactly to my face what he thinks about us or about me, whatever the case may be, and about what he thinks about the situation. So I would like to actually know what went down there in that World Cup. It's bothering me still to this day, what went wrong and how we managed to crumble the way we did. Do you think arranging an ODI series in the middle of SA20 will kill the vibe? I don't think so. I think it will make people hungry to want to go to the stadiums, actually. What happened to Riza and Yanaman? I think that is in a bad form at the moment. Look, at guys, if you, like I told you, you need to look at stats a lot differently than just looking at stats by average, etc. If you watch Riza Hendricks' career and you look at his stats and you look at the way he scores his runs, it often happens in clusters. He goes on a massive run of a purple patch, and then all of a sudden he drops and he'll have a couple of runs, bad performances, and it will look sometimes like he can't play cricket in certain cases. And then all of a sudden he gets back on form again and he goes. The importance with Riza, and the reason that happens is because he doesn't get a prolonged run in teams that he plays. Other than the Lions, I think that's the way he's most consistent. But at certain teams, like the Proteas, he doesn't get a consistent run. So he's always on that pressure to want to score most consecutive runs because he doesn't know when his next he doesn't know when his next game is going to come. So I think that's gotten a kind of tangled up within his within his style in cricket because he's used to scoring his runs like that. And cricket's about habit and consistency. So you fail more than you succeed. So I think they will come right in this tournament. I think there's a problem in the batting in mentality in general in the JSK team. They've struggled in every game they've played so far, other than I think the first game. They struggled against the Royals and they struggled in the MICT. So both low scores. So there's something going on there. Don't know what it is. But they need to sort it out because I want to see JSK also win some games. I want to see everybody do well in this tournament. I want it to be a close battle till the end. I don't want one outright winner. I want it to be a close fight until the end, a close final. It must be exciting. Mulder is becoming a top order batter. I told you guys, he's always been a top order batter. When Otis Gibson came in, for some reason, they got an idea in their head that he is a great bowler, which he is. He's consistent. He keeps it on the spot. But they focused on his bowling, where his batting was his main strength. And I don't understand that. He was a top order batter for his school, top order batter for Lions. He's a batter first, in my opinion, not a bowler. That's my opinion on Vivian Mulder from seeing him at Kamajolovic, etc. His batting stood out to me more than his bowling. So I hope that they work on his batting. I think someone like Shukri is also good for his mentality. So Test cricket batting up the order is important. And I'm liking the fact that his team now in the SA20 are giving him opportunity to bat higher up. She's showing that he can bat if he gets given a proper backing and chance. I think Mulder's the type of person that's very selfless. He puts himself before the team always. I've always noticed that about him since he was a kid. And that's how he approaches his games when he plays for the Proteas, etc. And always he's been put in situations where he needs to go. and it might not suit his game for that particular time. I think Via needs to be a little bit more selfish, and because in being a little bit more selfish with his wicket and with it will aid the team as a what I'm thinking of. As a result, it will obviously help the team. So by being a little bit selfish, will also be unselfish to the team. I think I'm impressed by Otni Bamba, like his attitude. Love his attitude. Great bowler. Think he should be in he should be in some of the white ball games in the white ball teams. Evan Jones is the guy that will be in games. Mark my words. Reminds me of Stokes. Now he's a proper player. Hey, yes, the boy eats the ball bloody hard. I was watching him doing range hitting at Paul Royals. He was mooring the ball. If I'm going to be South African, do you think that will give or drop Keegan Peterson now that Zubair Hamza is back? That's a very interesting one because I think they're both in a difficult situation. Keegan lost his place because of constant inconsistent injuries. He needs to sort that out. And then he got COVID a hell of a lot of times as well. Zubair Hamza got dropped or left out after he got banned. So they're both kind of not their faults in a way. One more the other, more their fault in a way. It wasn't really Zubi's fault, but okay. It's a difficult one. I think they're going to assess. I can't answer this question. Honestly, JD, you stumped me for once on the show. I don't know what they're going to do, but what I would do is I would go with Zubair Hamza. And this is not because of my bias to him, but I think personally I would give them both one season to just get themselves back into the flow of things again and then start picking them. We got 4 years to build a test team. My concern, still the same questions. My concern is that after the West Indies series, the next time we play series in December. Yeah, we know that. But this is a 4-year product a 4-year project when it comes to Test cricket. So we need to be patient and have our time to build. Shukri will have his time to be able to watch the players, go and scout and see these players in action under pressure. Because you see, by the way, going back to Zubair Hamza and Peterson, you have the option of playing a Tony Dezorzi at 3, possibly. If you can bring Aiden back as an opener, which I'd like to see. And I want him to be captain as well. But I would like to see someone like Tony Dezorzi maybe can come in and play. Because Tony can bat 3 or 4. So if Zubair Hamza or Keegan Peterson could have both. I think it's possible to have both in your team. It's not that it doesn't have to be the one or the other. It's possible to have both, I think. I know it's up to you guys to decide that, but yeah, I think they can. Wonders getting sold in midweek. Haven't saw this coming since AB era. Wow, Madison Landsman taking a hat trick. Yes, guys. Well done, Maddie. She's a friend of the channel. She's been on here before a couple of times. Very, very a great person, great human being. Congratulations to the SA under-19 women as well for winning their game and bouncing back against India. They batted really well against India, man. I just wish they bowled better, man. It was a little bit sad because, I mean, India's team is just ridiculous. A lot of those ladies, they play with ladies, with women, for full-grown women, IPLs, etc. So they've got a lot of experience. Those girls compared to our young, new, fresh team, first ever under-19 women's girls team. So that actually is competing in a World Cup and playing at a high level. So congratulations to the ladies in Indonesia for winning their match. Considering the Knights will be really relegated, which team do you think Gerald Kutsia and Reina van Tonder will go to? I think Gerald will go to Joburg, and I think that Reina could come to Cape Town, either Paul or Newlands. That's my opinion. I think that would be good for them. I don't know where they'll fit in at the VP Blitz. I definitely can see Reinhard at Borland. So that's how I think they'll go, but I don't know for a fact. I need to ask them. The SA20 is definitely the second best league after the IPL. The 100 is also up there. Haha, yeah, boy. Now, it's a lot of fun, guys. go get your tickets. Amazing tournament, amazing games. Wherever you are in the country, please go watch these games. I promise you won't be regretted. It is really awesome for fans to have a tournament like this. To everybody that's tuning in today, I hope you really enjoyed this episode. If you did, please smash the like button. If you enjoyed this episode, enjoyed the interviews that was on the show. Um, Thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Smash the like button, please. Click the notification bell for all future videos and subscribe, please. That's very important that you do so. Also, download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. This is the latest issue with Tristan Stubbs on the front cover. Please go and download it. It gives some excellent insight into the tournament, into some of the coaches, into some of the thought processes going into this tournament, even from coaches that are not in this particular league. So please go ahead and check that. Yes, Subs Makanya got picked up by JSK. So that's also another thing that I forgot to say on the show. Congratulations to Subs, very good pickup. I'm liking it. There's a lot more players of color coming into the system, into the SA20, which I like. You guys can also help us promote and grow South African cricket by becoming a patron today. The more patrons we get, the more exclusive content I can give you guys. So please get involved with the Patreon account, and we can also help us as a staff grow. You guys are the ones that are patrons, and the guys in the live chat that do super chats, and the monetization on YouTube is the only thing that's keeping this channel alive at the moment. So please, guys, get involved with the Patreon account and help us take it to the next level. Please do so. Also, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all regular updates. And go watch my daily shows that I've been producing, guys. I've been taking a lot of time. The last daily show, I exported 4 times, guys. The video was done at 9:30. I only uploaded it the next morning because I was up through the whole night trying to export it because the system was crashing, the video was corrupted, etc., etc. So please support us. Please share it with everybody. Show them what this SA20 is about. Show them our content because I really need your help and support to share our content with everybody. I put in a hell of a lot of work every single day to try and bring you guys quality content, as quality as I can bring you. I can only do as best as I can. So please support it. Please share it with everybody. It will really help us out a lot on this channel and this family. We are family. We are community. We are the voice of the. I'm trying to give you guys a voice as fans, so that you guys can also be a part of the community and growth and the development of cricket in South Africa. We are the reason why cricket is being played. Fans are the reason why we keep it alive. So this is our place. This is our house. This is our place where we can say what we want when we want, and we can support the sport as best as possible, because we don't have power at all with selection, with any of those things. So please get involved with this channel. Thanks a lot to everybody for watching, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Actually, not on a live show because I'll be in Paul. I'm going to be covering that game. So you'll get a daily show from Paul. It won't be live because the signal. I would do it live from the stadium, guys, but because so many people are in the stadium, etc., and so many media people are using the Wi-Fi, it lags, and it's going to be terrible for me to do it from there. So you guys will see me again on Friday evening with another Q&A session to you guys, or maybe an exclusive interview. I don't know. We'll see what happens on Friday, but you'll see me on Friday for another daily show. Take care, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your week and evening. Peace out.